Good morning, GLSD Nation. This is Zach Carroll coming in with a new edition of Cat Chat. I'm, of course, your host for today, and we have a great host. We have a great guest on for this episode. She is one of GLSD's own and GLSD's finest. Can we get a nice warm welcome from Kaylee Dasetsina?
You're pretty close.
Dasetsina?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the last name.
Yeah.
What is it anyway?
It's Slovak. It goes back a while.
Slovak. I'm sure it probably took you a while to get it down.
I couldn't write it until I was like 7. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. It's the spelling. It's like do set then Zena, but it's
Yeah.
like you gotta have like the dialect in there.
I mean, but also like it's exactly as it's spelled. So if you just look at it close enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And but like in all seriousness, you are the first student on for the edition of Cat Chats. Like, how does it feel to be the first student representing GLSD here for today?
It feels pretty cool. I mean, I don't really know how to feel about it, to be honest. I mean, I'm kind of honored by it, but I think it's just really cool.
Hey, it's a new experience.
Yeah.
And I remember like talking to you a few weeks ago about wanting to have you on because of your idea, and we'll get to that in a little bit here. But it's really important to be able to connect to the student community, especially with Cat Chat, because that's the whole purpose of it anyway. I wanted to not only reach out to administrative directors and teachers and principals, but also the student branch as well, because I'm a student here as well, and it's great to have the student perspective on matters and topics that we talk about in Cat Chat.
Yeah.
And I'm having you on today because you had an amazing idea that you approached me a few weeks ago about. I was just like, I have to have her.
Yeah.
And why don't you just tell everybody what your idea was?
Well, my amazing idea, I decided that I wanted to start a political awareness club. I've now figured out the name for it. It took me like 2 weeks.
Political awareness.
But political awareness club, I just want it to be a safe space where people can learn and ask questions about politics, but also be able to debate politics and, be able to just learn from other people.
Right, and you were telling me about the whole disconnection that people our age have to not only the political standard that we have here in our nation, but also social issues as well, that were things that need to be touched upon, especially with our age group. And I really appreciate just this student coming up with such a mature idea and such a mature concept for a high school. And I just that was just so crazy to me. But like, where did you even come up with the idea for this anyway?
Well, the initial idea, it just came from like one night I was talking to my friends and we were just sitting in a circle and I was like, hey, we should start, because we were just debating and we weren't even like going at it really hard. We were just all talking to each other and learning from each other. And I was like, well, why can't everyone do this? Why can't people our age be able to be in a safe environment around people they're comfortable with and learn about politics and learn about other perspectives? Like,
wow, and you're a sophomore, right?
Yeah.
Sophomore, that's crazy. And I'm a senior, like I'm graduating, and like you still got 2 years left here, and you already have such a big idea and such big plans for this club idea. And like, what are some of the factors that would go into the club anyway, if it were to get incorporated in the school system?
Like, well, define factors, like what purpose the club would serve.
Yeah, like what branch do you see this coming off as in terms of like, is it just another branch of the forensics club, or is it like its own entity within itself?
I want it to be its own entity. I would like it to be a place where people can learn. It's completely separate from forensics. It's not formal debate. It's discussing opinions and discussing what people really think. Like, there should be a space where people don't yell at each other and don't argue, because I feel like that's what draws a lot of people, especially our age, away from politics.
Right, and I know that politics can a lot of times be a really dry concept to like read about, but it's important nonetheless. And to understand the important stuff, you have to get through a lot of the dry reading. I know that politics isn't always the happiest news to read, and it's not supposed to be, but it's our news, and I think it's important that everybody has at least a basic foundation of understanding, to know what they're reading, and to know how to be able to stomach and interpret what they're reading about.
Yeah, like we all took civics. We all learned about the government, but what do we really know? What do we really know? Because we a lot of people just let go of that information and lost it after about a year and a half. But people should be able to learn it and stomach it and be able, if they really want to make change in this country, because that's their right as a citizen.
Right, and that's a really important term, like your right as a citizen. And as your right of a citizen, it's your right to go out there and be able to present your ideas and your take on life. I mean, like that's the importance and that's the passion of human existence, is to go out there and share your ideas, and hey, maybe somebody will catch on to it.
Exactly.
I was thinking about the Renaissance and how that was such a big explosion in art and literature. And you have all of these philosophers and artists that come along and just paint their ideas, write about their ideas, these things that they think about on a daily basis that have rubbed off on our modern society, and we still use those ideologies today. And like that's just like really amazing to read about and like to understand.
And like also you consider like great philosophers like Aristotle, like he had such amazing ideas, and he probably wasn't as appreciated in his time as he is now. Like it takes time for ideas to become bigger than what they initially were, but it can happen.
Right, and like these people live on because we have the idea to keep reading about their memory and what they wrote about. Like, these people don't die, and I hope that they don't. I hope that we continue to read about them. And it's really funny that you said Aristotle, actually. Like, everybody seems to be Team Aristotle. I personally am a Plato guy. The measure of a man is what he does with power, and that's a big quote to me. But I mean, Aristotle's cool. I'm not saying he's not, but I don't know. Plato had it all there too.
I mean, recently I might be a little biased in saying I like Aristotle because I recently just bought a book from Barnes & Noble on his ideology of politics. So I've been reading it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is his understanding of 17th century politics as in regards to contemporary politics? Is there any changes, or what's his take?
I haven't gotten very far into it. I've been so busy lately. I've had to go to work, and I almost broke my arm.
Right. I personally don't actually a lot of read myself as much as that I'd hope, being busy and all. And like that's another big thing, especially like with our age group. It seems like we're all busy.
There's no time. There's not an hour in the day.
It's really funny, like your grandparents, even your parents, like you need to be reading more. Like you need to like get off your phone. But it's like, well,
I can't because I have to make plans in order to get from point A to point B, and then I have to do this and that.
Yeah.
And then,
like you get home, you gotta work, you gotta do whatever, and then like you get home, you gotta finish your homework, and then by the time that's all done, you take a shower, brush your teeth, and you got like maybe 2 hours to yourself.
Yeah, and you just want to spend that relaxing. You don't want to be using your brain power.
Yeah, I think it's really important to use the downtime that you have at your disposal, even if it's like a half hour, 15 minutes, to read up, to freshen up and like always broaden your horizon.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a society, that's kind of taken a more static point of view on that, where, you have this downtime that you have, but at the same time, you're not using it as efficiently as you could. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really important to hop on Google once in a while and just, even if it's a dumb thing.
Like, just search it.
Right. And like, one of the goals that I have is to like learn a new fact every day.
Yeah.
It's like something as blatant as that, but it's something that I take passion in doing, and it's something that even if it's dumb, I still learn something. Yeah. And even with that downtime that I have, it's very important to understand what you're reading, and like that's a big thing as well. And especially with this club that you're trying to incorporate here into the school system, it's that we have these people here that really have great ideas and great concepts that they would love to present, but they don't.
Yeah.
And factors can be like things such as like peer pressure, and they're afraid to speak out because they're afraid to get judged. right?
Of course, that's how everyone is.
Right, and that's how everyone is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I love how you are trying to incorporate this environment where people don't have to be afraid to present these ideas and really speak what's on their mind.
Yeah.
And I love that idea of that, and how school systems nowadays are always trying to utilize and reinforce the whole concept of what you say is safe. And there's no bias against it, there's no judging against it. But, of course, we know
That's
people
not
that
true.
it's not the case. And it's never going to be, sadly. Like, everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, they always get their opinion from somewhere, whether it's a news source or whether it's from their parents or someone they trust heavily. I mean, a lot of people take from other people. That's just how it works, whether what they hear is true or not.
Right, and I really like how of a nice informal environment that you're trying to make here with the club. And what did you say that the new name was?
Political awareness.
Political awareness. I remember the last time we talked, it was like social.
It was like social politics
social
and
like
policy.
politics and policies club. I was like, okay.
That's a little odd.
I'm digging on it, but it's
not
kind
there
of a
yet.
mouthful at the same time.
Yeah.
But political awareness, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what if, as in regards of it being incorporated into the school, you have this new branch here of social awareness that people can be in.
Yeah.
What would you see coming from the club if it were to be incorporated? Like future plans for it, ideas that you already have?
Well, what I would personally love to see is I would love to see this club become bigger than what it is. Obviously, because I created the club, I'm going to be running it until I graduate, but whoever ends up taking over it for however many more years it continues to exist, if it does, I really hope they can grow it into something far bigger than it is, because I would love to bring in maybe political speakers or people who are running campaigns and talk about motivation and what motivated them to become these big, prominent figures in our society. I would also really love if we can spread it to other schools and just, maybe have like informal debates with people from other schools. Like, I would love that so much, because, when you're trapped in one area and you don't really get out, you're stuck in this mindset. You're stuck with one opinion.
Right.
Not necessarily one opinion, but you're stuck in this place where you're surrounded by the same people.
Yeah.
And you should be able to go see other people and get opinions from other people who aren't from the same area or who don't live the same life as you or the same lifestyle.
Wow, that's awesome. Like, completely relatable. It's we know what we've been taught, and sometimes we don't understand how to apply it. It's that basis that you've learned something, but you've learned it just because you had to learn it.
Yeah.
And I love this idea of creating this area where you don't have to be afraid to learn something, or you don't have to feel like you're forced to learn this.
Yeah.
Because it is a club, and it's 100% optional to join.
Exactly.
But that door is open to you if you do so decide to join up with that. And to have these people come in and speak to the people that are in the club about their motivations and their take on our society and politics and how that is, it's a really important asset, because I know a lot of people who are just mere like surface readers into politics are very easily persuaded about what many politicians talk about or other social problems such as that. And it's really hard to be able to pick a side when you've barely read into the problem at hand. And creating an environment where you can read deeper into these issues and to really understand their core root of it, I think is a really valuable asset that students can learn here.
Yeah, because, ever since I was younger, ever since I was in middle school, I always had this mindset that what you see or what you read or what you hear isn't always what you should believe or what you can believe. You should do the research for yourself, not necessarily for yourself, but you should do a lot of the work and a lot of what goes into researching political ideologies and researching social ideas for yourself, because otherwise you're never going to have your true own opinion.
Right, and I can definitely see that you're really passionate about this and you
Mhm.
really striving to incorporate this. And I'm completely on your side.
Yeah.
I really hope that we can see something from this in the upcoming future, and that the whole idea of passing the torch, you running this club
Mhm.
from start to finish until the end of your high school career, and
Yeah.
finding a suitable candidate to continue the club, I think is like really, really tough, but like really exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
I know that like I'm a theater kid,
Mhm.
and I know that this year is my last performance
Yeah.
of my high school career, and we normally give these senior speeches before we perform our show, and it's a really touching and really sad experience because you know that this is your last performance, but you know this is going to be your best performance.
Yeah.
And I really see like this fire that you have here and this drive to see this club happening, and the whole idea of being able to create an environment where students aren't afraid to speak out for what they believe in, whether they're liberal or conservative, moderate or unaffiliated, they can be there
Yeah.
no matter what.
Or even if they have no idea what a Republican or a Democrat is, I want people like that to be there. That's what I want.
Right, and I love how you're putting it out there that, hey, you don't even have to be into politics to come into this club.
Just show up.
Just show up. And
Yeah.
I love that casual environment that you're trying to make. Like, me personally, I feel like there are some clubs that kind of make you believe that you have to be this or you have to be this to
Mhm.
be able to join up. When really it's kind of just like, hey, you show up and
You talk.
there you go, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you meet after school or whenever you make the schedule for the
Yeah.
club, and you just talk
Mhm.
and you just have a conversation. What we've been doing for
Exactly.
hundreds of years, we sit down and we just talk out issues.
Exactly.
And like, despite how a lot of people attempt to judge others, apply their bias for what they know, believe it or not, your opinion matters. And what you say could potentially be the driving force of starting something new.
It could be the driving force of a whole rebellion. It could be the driving force of, just look at a lot of political figures. A lot of them just had an idea and they pushed to make it happen. And look, you see, like, you can even see it in America, like,
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is why we read about figures,
yeah,
about Gandhi and Martin Luther King.
Mhm.
They had these concepts, and even though they were hated for it, they were in prison for it, they never stopped.
they never stopped believing in it.
And it's just really weird to think about what would have happened to the nation if they did stop.
Mhm.
What would have happened if their glimmer of hope completely just was blocked out? And it's really weird to think about that, but also like really exciting to know that they didn't give up.
Yeah,
And it's a lesson to all of us that if you have an idea, you shouldn't give up on it. You shouldn't
No.
just let the fire die, because you never know where it can go.
exactly.
And I truly believe that your idea is very valuable to your society. And as a human being, we can all relate that we've had a dream or we've had an idea that we've deemed very valuable and very important, but we've given up on it
Yeah,
because of peer pressure or people just talking you down
or it was just too hard for you. But
too hard. But goals are meant to have obstacles.
Mhm.
Challenges are meant to be there, and you can't get around them even if you try.
No.
But what fun would it be to walk through the journey of life without having those obstacles to jump over at the same time?
Exactly.
That's how you are able to become as passionate as you are about a subject,
Mhm.
because you know the forehanding challenges that are presented, but you were like, I don't care. I'm going to do
Yeah.
this anyway. And I just love the concept and the deeper meaning that you have in this club of it just not being something that's part of the school,
Yeah.
but a part of you that you're trying to leave here. at GLSD, and I really hope that that idea and that dream can really become a reality, because I just love thinking about that idea of one student creating a change and having this potential foundation of a stronger and more reinforced student community.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. And well, I'd love to close with one of the questions that I ask all the guests I'm going to have on, and that is your why. What is your why? Why do you get up every morning? Why do you do what you do? Why do you have these ideas in the first place?
Well, a lot of the reason why I get up and a lot of why I come to school and just go through with my day is when I was younger, I just used to be really upset all the time, and I used to really not care about anything. But then I woke up one morning and I was just like, no, why am I doing this? Like, I'm making everything worse for myself. Like, this isn't helping anything.
Right.
And especially being someone, I want to be a person that helps the world, and I want to be a person that makes a difference. And I just one day decided, like, I can't do this anymore. So I just got up and I started being a more positive person, and I started, coming to school with an attitude that I want to change something. I want to make a difference in a person's day. Just to see the world be a better place.
That's awesome. That it really is. It's just, you might not be the happiest person in the world, but you know that if you keep dwelling on that,
I'm only making it worse.
Yeah, you're only making it worse, and you're never going to get anywhere.
No.
There's no place to advance for that.
Exactly.
And I love how you just mustered up that courage to come in here with a smile and that rock hard attitude to be able to reinforce your ideas and the passions that you have for yourself. And that's a really important way to understand your morality as a person. Yeah. And that's really awesome, Kate. But we're going to be out of time for this episode. Thank you so much for being on. It was really amazing.
Yeah, of course. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
this was nice.
Yeah, the pleasure's all mine. I didn't, going into this, I thought we were going to talk about this club idea that you have, and then this turns out we got deep, and then I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, I didn't know that she was like, had all this thought about too.
I didn't know this was, I didn't know it did that.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, thank you so much for being on. It was a real pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again.
Well, everyone, that's going to be all it for today. And remember to tune in next time to another edition of Cat Chat. Of course, the link of the episode will be in the Cat Chat YouTube channel. So, of course, you can look that up there if you couldn't catch this episode right away. And, of course, stay wild, GLSD Nation.